So I was talking about the fact that even if we don't configure anything on our switch, it is still supposed to perform its duty of switching, even if we don't perform any configurations. So that is what we are going to confirm. And how do we confirm that? We're going to test for connectivity. And every time you hear testing for connectivity, you need to think of the function here ping. Ping ndio yatinoshandisa kutesta for connectivity. It's just a protocol messaging inoshandisa protocol inonzi ICMP. We're going to ping from this device. Right. Once you ping, kungoisa ping, that's the command in the IP address to test for connectivity. If you get a reply, it means the ping is successful. It means there is a connection. So as you can see, my devices either to PCA and PCB, they can already communicate because there is a connection, despite not making any configurations per my switch. So switch, kungorisa network, kungorisa box, kurisa pa gates, kurisa ma cable, it is able to function. Right. My configurations, kwakuita probably kuti function in a way yauri kudewa. For example, tokwanisa kuvhara mamwe maport, tikauya tikaconfigure tovhara maport, port rine uichi port 6 I think, imwe port 18, touya tobloka port 6 neport 18, you will not be able to send maping sezvataita successfully sezvataita. It's because of my configurations aunenge wakuita paswitch later on. Right, that said, let's now go and configure the basics switch configuration. Kana wakuda kupinda muswitch, what you use initially is a console. There is no way yaunokwanisa kuaccess a switch without the console. So there we are with our console. Inoenda paport runs RS232. If you just hover around pane maports, rinotokuhighlightira kuti wasvika. A lot of students find difficulties nekuisa pamaports pavo. So you just click cable yako, you hover around paport rauda kuisa, then you click again, cable yotoita green, meaning you've successfully connected your cable. That's our console. Toisa console pa switch 1. Okay, let's say PCB toisa pa switch 2. Makes sense. Console yedu taiona iri at the back. This is our console. If I can zoom in so we can clearly see it. This is our console. We connect. We have another cable there. Right? Okay, on this port, Jenga is now connected. Let me click again. Right, we have another cable there. This is our console. Right? Let me use the other console to connect up a second PC edu so that it will connect up a switch number 1. I inspect the rear, I connect my cable. We now have my consoles. So it means if I use this PCB, if I go to the terminal, I'm now connected to switch number 2. So this is switch number 2. And this is the switch we are going to use to make our basic configurations. Simple stuff. So I'm just going through, this is revision, because most of you, not most, I think 5 students submitted the assignment and it was perfect. Pane vamwe vagadzira murabadada wenetwork. Impressive. I like that. I hope patinopinda ona ndaunyora like. I hope patinopinda muCCNA 2 you still have that energy. I like it. How they doing? Right. So our configurations at Cheta, we always start with the host name. For practice sake, time yourself. But you could have my basic configurations. Takumaziwa S, I think it's around 6, 7. Time yourself. Pekutanga, mchita ma 20 minutes vamwe. I think the minimum yaunokwanisa kuita, it should be 5, even less, 2, 3 minutes. Let's see how much we can do. Time yedu panapa iri pa 35 minutes. Let's see how much time we can have my configurations is. 35 minutes. Our host name, let's go with switch number one, simple, right? Then the next thing that is user exec, tracer line, console 0, password, I always use HHP. I can confirm, can't forget login. That's it. Then I go to another enable secret to log the user exec. My password is always HHP. Then there is another one, line VTY, 0 to 15, because we have 16 lines in total. My password is also HHP as well. I don't forget login. Without that login, there will be no password. Then our passwords needs to be encrypted. Service password encryption. There we have it. Our passwords are encrypted. We also need a banner message of the day, MOTD. Let me use end. No, not trespassing. Not trespassing. I hope that the spelling. Our banner is there. What else is left? Right. I check my configurations if they are correct. How do I check? I use the show commands. This is show running. I check if I've made the correct settings. My name is there. My password is there for the privilege. Right. What I don't have is this SVI, Switch Visual Interface. My banner is there. My password for the console is there. My passwords for the VCYs are there, and all of them are encrypted. So what is left for me is to configure the virtual SVI, the Switch Visual Interface, managing the switch remotely. I'm just doing this for practice sake. How do we do it? I enter the interface VLAN 1 command, then I input my IP address. Let's have an IP address as Snoopy or addressing table, but we use the same network, 168.1. Let's use dot. Okay, the IP addresses that are there. Okay, dot one. So this is PCB connected to switch 2 is dot 2. The IP addresses are there, right there. So I think one of the objectives was as well to create this virtual interface. So dot 2, 255, 255, 2550. Done. This needs to be activated, no shutdown. Without no shutdown, you don't have anything. Our switch visual interface is there. Right, our percentage is at 58%, but we have already made my configurations ASAP switch number 2. And that was in 3 minutes to configure one device. It could have been 2 or even 1.5, then root out. That's how you practice. You start minutes akawanda, you time yourself until wagona kuzita at a much faster pace. Let's try to configure the other dot percentage. Let me try to configure the other switch. Right. I think why our percentages are low is because we are not using, for example, the host name iri proper yataifana kudzwa kunoku yataifana kushandisa. What was the host name? Okay, at no P was zvedu. Let me just skip that. Let's configure another host name no. Enable the host name. Okay, right. I think we won't get the 100% anyway, but I've proved a point already how to make our configurations. If I can go to my instructions here, why we won't get to 100%, for example, is because of this. Enter local passwords, use class as the privilege exec password. This is a data shansa HHP. That's why percentage is very lowish, right? What else did we not do? I think the host name to change a series of foot. That's why our percentage is low. But I think everything else is proper, and that is how we make my configurations edu pama eka network kadiki ako. So let's practice. Open my packet tracer labs essay. Like this one is very interesting. Right? You can drag. With time, we will learn how to even create your own yakatonge essay ish. Uchidrega, uchicreate cabinets akawanda. Uchicreate a whole city. I think let me demonstrate that. This one is done. I don't think we have much questions. Don't have much questions. I want to take you through a lab. Not show a whole city and how a network is designed. I think there's a lab like that one. Let me see, Ms. Anjou. Let me see, say to big lab. This one, data center exploration, wireless technology. Okay, let us look at this one. All right, I'm going to share a lab. Wireless technology. It's in the physical mode as well. I want to demonstrate you can design huge networks here. Packet trace, I think, is one of the basic networking simulation tools that we have. It's basic. Tinamamwe akata say GNS3, but the energy, right? You can download and install application on the GNS3. It uses you can create my live networks on GNS3. You get my images in my Cisco devices. This one is a simulation. Simulation, the next best thing to the real thing. With some other applications, you actually have the real thing. Maybe not the physical devices, but the softwares, the operating systems of those physical devices. You can have them. My images actual omaisa or create my virtual machines omaisa mawe yacho. Then you emulate your network using the real thing. Right. My labs they get very much interesting. For example, this one, it shows you a connection here between the corporate office, central office, panel home, coffee shop, branch office. Click on corporate office, you can see this is the office wiring closet. Right? Let me zoom in a bit. Right, office wiring closet. From the office wiring closet, you can see this is a building in my rooms. Right? Designing my rooms. There's a room up in access point there now, room in access point, room in access point, every room almost in my access points. Then in Doparuva, every other wiring panel. Let's click. Totsvaga kuona kuti mukati mune what do we have mukati mune ka laptop kedu, then we have our devices ayarapa rake redu ne that big server rapa. All right, then we have the wireless LAN controller zvese zvakaitwa maconfigurations. So one building yatapinda macables ari kubva achienda kupi, we go back. My cables, you can even go and see what type of cables were used. I think you'll take a click. Let me try to zoom in to this one. Okay, at this stage I was connecting, but you can click on my cables, you can learn as well what type of cables are used to connect. For example, right, this one is going again. To connect to my building's eye, the type of cable I shine this for. With the source device, I cannot move my cursor now, but there's a box set up on a source device, destination device, cable length, 598 meters. That's half a kilometer. Kana tishandisa half a kilometer, what type of media do we use? I want a copper straight through fiber. You definitely use fiber. Why? Because it's much suitable for longer distances, less losses. You need to know that information. Let's see iri booster guy. Chish. What is this? Cell tower. My cell tower na maziwa. What is the link between that cell tower and the central office? Pakashanswa coaxial, not fiber, coaxial, different type of media. There are reasons behind why they used coaxial there as well. Right? Let us go through tamboenda iyo takupinda central office. Tikapinda central office cabinet rao rine almost the same setup. Right, rine server, rine ka PC ako central office server, ma connections esa. Ari kubuda achienda kupi ndikakilika kudai so source device, central office server, source port, destination ari kuenda ku cell tower. So information yedu ichabva pa server iri yoenda ku cell tower directly. You also can design my networks akadai so. I wasn't looking for this one to be much more interesting, but let's see. Right. I think those are guy. You can see my designs are the next best thing to something physical. This is how you're going to visualize my networks when you are going to design them as well. I'm hoping you get to the point where you design my networks. Takatasa room here. You can see my access points. You have a wireless router. Wireless router. What do we have here? Cable modem, right? Zoom in. Or click router rangu ndiona kuti rinoclickika here. I'm supposed to be able to do that. Not responding. Very interesting, this packet tracer thing. You can also design this thing. Right. So this is how I'm going to configure wireless router rangu. But it gives you a pictorial view yekuti network chaiyo designer sei. I'm not so sure. I was supposed to be seeing wiring iripo. Let me try to zoom in again. Let me see. You can see wiring iri kufamba. Painofamba napo haingofambi nepese pese. My cables. The last time ndantaura my cables mamwe ndopamunozana achirana ceiling. Is it zooming in? No. Right, zoom iri kunoko ndandovitsvaga. This is our zoom. Right, my cables asi kuoneka. Anyway, I was just trying to show you kuti manetworks amuchadhila nawo mamwe acho mahombe. So network iyi uchiona nekunze, right, uchiona nekunze kangoro kanzvimbo kari kuconnecta a coffee shop, corporate office, home office, branch office, central office. You want to connect zvinhu zvese izvozvo. You're going to be given a job like this one. Kuti isusu as a company tine office yedu iri pakati. Toda kuti zvinhu zvese izvozvo zvive connected. How are you going to connect them? Ndochauya kugara pasi kuti ndichada maswitch, ndichada marouter, ndichada chii, ndichada macell tower aya, ndichada this type of media kuti ndiconnecte pakati because of the distance, because of the interference iripo, etc, etc. And here is where it starts. Right, I think as far as my labs, I'm going to discuss my labs. Any questions so far before we get to lastly to pose the questions from my labs? Because once we are done here, mangwana tukutanga chapter 3. And according to our timetable, 3 months, we are already behind time. Luckily, mese makashifta kuenda ku 6 months. I bet there is one iPhone that is going to be easy. It's actually not. Any questions? Panamurita practice yenyu, what did you discover? Anything interesting that we might share? Nada. Okay, let's go through the questions. Hopefully I get a little bit of participation from questions. This is chapter 2. Check your understanding number 1. Hey, I can answer that. Let me reset. Let me reset. Come back. Right. Right. My answer and go doing. Question number 1. You know, Anita. Yes, A4 guys. Unmute. Unmute yourselves. Farai, Don.
All right.
Console.
Console, yeah.
Which access method will be appropriate? Okay, we're getting going to Number 2, which access method would be most appropriate if your manager gave you a special cable and told you to use it to configure the switch?
Console again.
Console.
Why not aux?
Well, I for one I'm this familiar with Oxy and Sadam
Asadamboyenzwawo.
Yeah, it's a legacy cable anyway. Matate Gura. Which access method would be most appropriate in-band access to the iOS over a network connection?
Telnet.
Telnet SSH.
SS.
All right, number 4. Yeah, amuzwe oxy, ndo oxy-ish. Into knows oxy. Right, access over a telephone connection. It's legacy though.
Right.
No one no longer uses it. Okay, I think there are some applications, but you've successfully identified the correct questions. Panetta Tazera. I don't think Panetta Tazera. Let's move. Let's move to the other one. iOS navigation. Check your understanding. Reset. All right, let's go through this 101. When you do practice akusukuverenga like the theory. Practice for you kuverenga my questions and getting my answers are correct. If not correct, you go and find my answers are correct.
Global.
Explanations behind them. Global.
No, it's privileged.
Anji?
Not privileged. Not privileged.
Privileged.
All commands and features. All commands and features is global configuration.
It's global. Privilege. I know. Oh. Privilege.
Limited.
Voila.
Okay. All features you can just my notes. Privileged.
All
If I'm not mistaken.
Privilege and all features.
But my notes ndo zvakanyorwa.
Let's finish, then we'll correct after.
Let's discuss. Let's discuss it. Agree first. Now, don't know the side of the room. Let's discuss.
Yeah, but my notes ndakana makanzi privilege. That's why I said privilege.
It's privileged and it's privileged exec mode.
What? All commands. Access to all commands.
And feature. Command features. That command and features going down.
Define my features. Define features. Discuss. Let's discuss. Define. Right. Can I approach my questions? Can I approach my questions? Since I think as zero, for example, since I'm still so sure about, for example, features. Of course, Maona Pama notes probably interpreted it wrong. Maona Pama notes pagans my features privilege exec. But pagans access to all commands. And the susu but I explain that use exec limited. When my commands are ping and a show. Privilege exec limited. You cannot change anything per device yako. Per privilege exec. You cannot change anything. But you can global. That's where you can make my changes. Everything. All commands and features allows you access. Because kana global, it means wamukati mezvinhu. You can reach even the privilege. But kana privilege, zvinhu global. Let's hope that's a correct answer. Check again. Right. Question number 2. Which iOS mode are you in? The switch config hash prompt is displayed.
That's the global mode.
Right, global. And
Global config.
number 3, which iOS are you in? Switch
This one is the
User.
user exec.
user exec.
User exec.
This one is easy. Which 2 commands return you? Can I zoom in a little bit? Right. Which 2 commands would return you to the privilege exec, regardless of the configuration mode you are in? I know Control C. Haipo zvayo. Control C Control C. Chero kwauri
Control Z na end.
Na end, yeah.
end.
Control C na end, yeah.
Right. That's it. Let's submit. Do not mind say that correct. Close pop-up. 75%. Depi atadzikwa.
Ande
Privilege
pataziringa.
yenye. Privilege yenye.
Yeah.
Ande.
Question.
Vako right.
About what?
Vako right now. Vako right.
Manoti ndo zvaari kutaura.
Sorry, James. I'm right.
Right. What's the explanation for this one? Let me see. Reset. Let's do this. Mama na mano is papi mimi.
Kumsoro, just to go back Kumsoro, I think 2.1 or 2.2.
2.1, 2.2.
Not sure, but
I love these discussions. Mina to want to submit. Do you want to submit? Let me see.
Answer, not reset.
Ayo ndoda ku. You want to submit?
Taita toona paya patatichinankirira.
Ikuramba. I scoop my explanation. I have to champ my explanation. Anyway.
Okay.
Yaramba and my explanation. If I don't my explanation, I think we should be able to see them somewhere. Minute on. Just a minute. This one should have my explanations.
Why you know my explanations here?
I know deeper about and so what why.
The one in the offline, you know my explanation.
And the
You're the one in offline unayo papiwo ndotoitsvaga one sikuiona
iri mugroup one.
Oh, I didn't see it in my offline actually.
Iri mugroup more questions right. Right, question number 1. Your explanation. The privilege exec mode allows access to all commands. High-level commands like global configuration mode, a sub-configuration mode can only be reached from the privilege exec mode. Explain any language yatinonzwa tona. Vanga vachiti privilege exec taura tona explain answer. Kureve izvo.
And mimi apa panzi izvo allows access to all commands. And makapaonera.
Yeah.
Hapana uzeswa features ndo yangozoshaika.
Apart to explain features, which was our basic for the answer at apa isusu tichiti pazonzi all commands and features. Ndopachizobva pana chitopawo argument kuti nochi this is actually the global ngiri kinoona saka ndanota I was wrong zvesure manotsowa mheno kuti panika contradiction somehow.
Yeah.
Yeah, because even when I was practicing, I had to answer in digital. Firstly, it was global configuration mode. Then in Chiba, that one was 75%. That's okay.
Zveshuwa saka vakomana vangu vari kumbera vakomana muri kumberi but tomorrow I'll catch up.
Right. I think that's around 10 minutes, right? Let me go to the exam itself, to the end of module exam to browse through that one. Instead of my check your understanding, let's go to this one. All right, and it one. All right, question 1. Debate 1. Which statement is true about the running configuration file? Let's eliminate. Adishi? This is not.
And I think the first one, I think, is correct.
It
Oh.
affects
It
the
affects the
operation
operation
of
of
the
the device immediately when
modified.
modified.
Yeah.
Mm.
Right.
Yeah.
What is stored in the NVRAM?
My startup configs.
Startup.
Setup.
It should be deleted using erase running config. Hakuna command right. Right. It is automatically saved when the router reboots. No, it is not automatic.
No, series.
Yeah. Let's go to 2. Right. Bam. If I can say this, but my type of questions that now my final exams edu tinema single, for example, number 1 is single answer. Then tinemango multiple answer, for example, inonzi choose 2. But choose 2 apo kwagona 1 azviro kuti une 1 mark. Zvinoti kuti une 0. So these ones are very dangerous. Iyo multiple answer questions. Mangwana ane 3 chaiwo. So let's go for this one. True. User exec. User exec. This one is false. Not all of them are available.
And the second one, what is false?
Global config mode can be accessed.
The
But the
device
third one
prompt
is correct.
ends with
The
a
third one.
Yeah, this one is true. And
Mhm.
only some aspect.
this one is faulty.
Yeah, but the last one is true for him.
So 2 are
Mm.
question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which type of access is secured on a Cisco router or a switch with the enable secret?
That's the privileged mode.
Privilege exec, then enable secret. What is the default SVI on a Cisco switch?
VLAN 1.
VLAN.
VLAN 1, that is what we call the default VLAN. Just I don't know the VLANs. I think that's CCNA 2. Right, for this one, choose 3 answers. When a host name is configured, which 3 naming conventions are part of the guidelines? Fewer characters,
The first one.
I'm not so sure. This
That's correct. Should be less than 64 characters in length.
And this
No
also.
spaces should
Then
have
the, the,
contain no
No
spaces.
the third one,
Yeah.
no space.
Mm-hmm.
special character, this one is false.
Maybe the last one.
Give me the
The
letter.
last one, yeah.
Give me the letter.
Makes sense,
Yeah,
Kuta.
and this also. R3.
Does it make sense?
Yeah, it should be less.
64 characters. 60, okay, not more than.
Yeah, it should be fewer
Not
than
more than.
64.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Number 6.
What's the name of the paragraph?
Paragraph. The 64 character.
I don't get banner angry.
That's Jerry. Yeah. Function of
Interface between the user and the kernel.
yeah, share on the repeat tangas. I see it.
Yeah, and this also shown. That's the first one. The topinda pa Kenya. Topinda mu hardware.
The interface between the users and the kernel. And this was
Interface between the user. This was.
User and the
That's the
kernel.
shell. This was that's the user. That's the kernel. I mean.
And this
after the kernel
interacts with the hardware, that's the kernel. It provides dedicated file services. Akunesh. Intrusion. Right, number 7, how much minutes 4? A router with a valid OS contains a configuration file stored in NVRAM. The file is an enable secret password, but no console password. When the router boots up, which mode will display? Hey. Mm.
User hatisi tongotanga pauser exec here. Always tongotanga pauser exec kana chingoita on, I'm sure.
Mhm.
Even pasina password.
Mhm. The configuration files enable secret but no console password. When the router boots up, which mode will display? User exec.
User exec.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm sure. Because kana tichitongobuta apo, tichitongostart a device, rinongotanga that sequence here pauser exec here.
All right, ko I've never experienced this one. Ko kana ndakaisa password ndakaiseva kustartup ndakaisa password paprivilege apo zviro kuti ndopinda muuser but handikwanisa kupinda muprivilege exec.
I would like to think so.
All right.
Which is something exciting. I'll come back with an answer for tomorrow. I'm sure I'm going to do that.
Right. An administrator just changed the IP address. What else must be done in order to apply those changes to the device? Copy run.
Copy running configuring. Yeah, kutanga. Yeah, first one.
Which memory on a Cisco router or switch will lose all content when the device is restarted?
RAM iyo yekupedzesera.
Yeah, muri kufamba uko man. Handidhoni. The technician enter the command. Copy startup. Config running config. Right. Yeah, I say save. Dechi. Copy
Because it's actually the opposite.
Yeah,
It's the opposite.
It's the opposite. Regarding Mansas anongooneka. Right. Regarding so. What do you think command here ndechi? Kumove ama startup kumaendesa kurunning. Why would you do that?
Maybe you want to alter something.
What did I say?
Maybe you want to alter something.
I think so. To change.
Those rules are RAM running configs. I'm sure you can play around. Alter anything, then you save it back again. I don't know. That's my thinking.
In my thinking is it's sort of reloading kudzokera starting point. Kuti wapinda warasika wabva wati regai ndidzokere kwandatangira. Do you get it? That's my thinking. Because ukakopa marunning waisa marunning waisa maconfigurations ausinganzwisi wakanganisa zvinhu. So you copy kwawatangira and you copy them into the running so that unotangira panozivikanwa. That's my thinking. Let's see my answers. To save an active configuration to NVRAM, to remove all configurations from the switch.
Copy existing configuration into RAM.
Existing. Okay, to make change to configuration.
The last one, inenge make sense. It make sense, but somehow
The last one, right. I think the last one is the correct answer there.
The last one, I think it only make sense, but somehow not to dismiss it. We face ataura futi zvine sense futa. If you think about it.
Right. Let us have another extra 10 minutes. Session is around 1 minute. Tiri kufunga tiri mirire pere. Mologa ya mojo ina